हेलो एंड वेलकम एवरीवन, दिस इज प्रोफेसर सिद्धार्थ सुराना। आई होप यू गाइज आर डूइंग गुड और मैं तो हमेशा मस्त ही रहता हूँ। वेलकम टू एपिसोड नंबर 4 सीए फाइनल डायरेक्ट टैक्स एमसीक्यूज सीजन 2 applicable for May 21 and November 21 attempt, and any of the common chapters. IPCC students, intermediate students can also attempt or attend these lectures, and a virtual guarantee of 25 minimum. You can score 30 marks also in your 100 mark paper. This is going to be huge. Last episode we stopped, I think, at assessment of partnership firm. So let us continue further in our chapter. The next chapter that we have is assessment of religious and charitable trust. As you are aware, this time season 2 has got two changes compared to season 1. Change number 1, I am not revising every chapter before starting the chapter because detailed revision lectures have been already separately uploaded, and I have already told you that you should first watch the revision lecture and then start watching these lectures. And second, the sum based, the difficult questions, the sum based questions I have already solved before I start recording, because last time the whole solving exercise which I used to do was also a part of the recording, making the duration big, and I wanted to keep the duration this time a little small. So then the sum part of it is already been solved. So as and when we come across the questions, we will be going through that part of the laptop where I will be showing you the solution. And lastly, majority language is going to be English, mainly keeping in mind the interest of South. बाकी rest of India के students को थोड़ा बहुत हिंदी यूज करेंगे तो ठीक है। वैसे भी आपको तो इंग्लिश में एग्जाम लिखना है तो इंग्लिश में ही ज्यादातर लेक्चर होगा, थोड़ा बहुत हिंदी यूज किया जाएगा। ऐसा नहीं है कि हिंदी बिल्कुल नहीं यूज करेंगे, लेकिन मेजॉरिटी communication language is going to be English only. Let's start. This is charitable trust chapter, page number 38, question number 1. State whether true or false subsidy or grant received by central government for the purpose of corpus, received by नहीं होगा, it should be received from. Subsidy or grant, by लिखा बराबर है, no sorry, my reading mistake, my bad. Subsidy or grant received from central government. So received subsidy or grant received from central government, that means given by the central government for the purpose of corpus of trust or institution established by central government or state government, as the case may be, is not income. If central government is giving you any donation as a part of your corpus, then it is not going to be your income. True or false? Yes, it is true. Income received by any university existing solely for educational purposes and not for profit is exempt under 1023C if the aggregate annual receipts do not exceed. For getting benefit under 1023C, at least for the current AY 21-22, the turnover limit is 1 crore. If your turnover is up to 1 crore, then it will get full exemption under 1023C. Entities registered under 12AA or the newly introduced section 12AB, on the condition that such registration shall become inoperative, will not be entitled to claim any benefit of exemption under section 10, except you are not allowed to take section 10, but you can take the following. While you take the following, what is the amendment as per 12AB? That if you are taking the section 10 exemptions which are allowed, normally section 10 is not allowed only, but if you are taking them, then your 12AB or 12AA registration is going to be inoperative. Previous video some students commented, sir, is that new registration section applicable? Of course, it has been introduced with effect from AY 21-22 from 1st June 2020. Yes, because of COVID, government has relaxed and postponed the requirement. Instead of 1st June, they said that we are going to extend it, but unless and until those circulars are kept, we have to study the Finance Act of 2020. So our textbook is going to cover all the, in fact, all the batches have covered all the registration part of 12AB. Some people told me, I don't refer to all that, but some people told me that some so-called famous books of direct tax, some so-called popular books have not covered that registration part. So that is not my fault. Our textbook is covering everything and questions also. So we are not going to get section 10 exemption. What are the exceptions? They are going to, which we are going to get. It will not be entitled to any benefit of section 10 except, do we get 1023C? Yes, we get it. Do we get agriculture income? Yes. And as per a newly introduced, once again an amendment, we will get 1046 also. That means we are going to get all of the above. Time limit for making an application for grant of exemption. If you want 1023C, under that there is time limit which you have to make registration application up to your 30th of September. Which of the following institutions income is exempt from tax? Financed by government, hospital financed by government, government, school, college, hospital, they get full exemption. Solely for educational purposes and not for profit, yes, all of them are going to get full exemption. Trust engaged in the advancement of any object of general public utility will not be entitled to get exemption under section 11 if its commercial receipt is exceeding. What is the limit on commercial receipt for advancement category? 20%. It has to be related and maximum 20%. Trust is an obligation annexed to ownership arising out of confidence reposed in. Person who accepts the confidence. Who are we giving all the responsibility? Confidence on the trustee. Approval granted for exemption given to university will be withdrawn if such university has not applied his income accordance with the provisions. Yes, it will be withdrawn. Activities of the fund are not genuine. Yes, withdrawn. Activities are not being carried out in accordance with the condition based upon which it was notified or approved. And in that case, all the cases, yes, you are going to lose your exemption. Ram Charitable Trust has its main object as relief for the poor. It used entire income of 60 lakh derived from an activity in the nature of trade. Means deriving from nature of trade, but using it for relief for the poor, which is its main object. Should the utilization be treated as charitable purpose? See, you are allowed to do commercial activity if you use it for relief for the poor, and under relief for the poor, there is no restriction that it has to be related activity or 20%. That restriction is applicable only in the advancement category. So, should it be utilized or treated as charitable purpose? Yes, it is going to be treated as. State whether true or false voluntary contributions are not a part of income. That is the biggest source. Only corpus is not a part of income. False. Exemption to trust will be available only if the income is applied for charitable purpose. Charitable purpose does not include. Includes what? Relief for the poor, education, medical relief, yoga, preservation, advancement. Does not include. Relief for the poor is included. Preservation of objects is included. Yoga is included. So, if the question is not include, then our answer will be none of the above. Exemption to trust will be available only if the income is applied for charitable purpose. Charitable purpose, this time they are asking includes. Includes what? Commercial coaching classes, we know not included. Music concerts not, but yoga is included. So, none of the above also cannot be your answer. 85% of income need to be applied in order to get exemption, but this 85% can also be accumulated. Accumulation, when they ask you, the answer is always going to be, yes, we know it will be treated as income of the 6th year. So, spend in the 6th year, in the 7th year up to the due date of return filing. But, if the question is asked, then your answer will be 5 years. Krisha Charitable Trust earned income of 25 lakh. But in the previous year, it actually received only 15 lakh 68. And it applied in full. Remaining 932 was not received. The amount which was not received, will it be deducted in computation? Yes, because if you have not received, you can neither accumulate nor you can apply. When trust is taking exemption under section 11, which of the following things are not allowed? Always be careful about the question. Depreciation on asset on which cost is claimed. Yes, it is not allowed. But don't finish because most appropriate. Exemption under section 10 is not allowed except these three. These are exceptions. Yes, and accordingly, our final answer is going to be both of them. When A and B both are right answer, then both of them will be our answer and C will be our most appropriate answer. Anonymous donation received by trust established wholly for charitable purpose would be taxable at a rate of wholly charitable, and partly if received for education and medical purpose will be taxable at a rate of 30%. Which of the following cases accumulated income under section 11(2) shall be deemed to be income? When accumulated income is applied for purpose other than charitable purpose, yes, then it will be taxable income. Accumulated income ceases to remain invested or deposited as per 11(5), then also yes. It is not utilized for purpose for which it was accumulated, then also yes. Or paid to any other unregistered trust or institution, all the cases yes, and accordingly answer will be. When will the income of trust not be eligible for exemption? When income is held under trust used for private religious purpose, then not eligible. Income of trust is used for benefit of particular caste, community, creed, religion, then again not eligible. Not eligible. Deposit or investment of funds in impermissible modes, also not eligible, and accordingly all of the above. Section 115 BBC, 30% tax on anonymous donation is not applicable. Not applicable, not applicable. Charitable trust it is applicable, but religious trust it is not applicable. So both cannot be the answer and none is also not the answer because religious it is not applicable. Gopal Charitable Trust provides free medical facilities to the trustee. Whether registration can be cancelled. 4 cases. Private religious purpose, particular caste community kid, non-specified investment and benefit of specified person. Not just your exemption will be lost, but also your registration can be cancelled. When is tax on accredited income levied? 115 TD, exit tax. When there is conversion of trust into a form not eligible. Yes. Merger with entity not having similar objects. Yes. Non-distribution of assets on dissolution within a period of 12 months from the end of the month. Yes, in other words, all of the above. Accreted income of a trust or institution shall be taxable at, what is the rate of exit tax? 30 plus 12 plus 4. It is MMR. For trust purposes, the normal MMR is 42.744. Let me be clear. There also rate of this is 30 and this is 4. The difference is only in that MMR the surcharge is 37%, but for charitable trust purposes, for the purpose of 115 TD, it has been specifically mentioned in the Finance Act that the rate of surcharge will be 12. Accordingly, for the purpose of charitable trust, we have to take this as MMR, that is for the purpose of exit tax, MMR will be 34.944, that's 30 plus 12 plus 4. State whether true or false. Exit tax is to be payable even if no income tax is payable. True, because that is over and above your tax liability. Accreted income means FMV of assets minus FMV of liabilities. Correct. Net worth, accreted income. Trust shall be liable to pay tax on accreted income to the credit of central government within dash days. What is the time limit? Same as your buyback tax, 14 days. Public charitable trust registered under section 12AA for the previous year 21 derived income of 10 lakh from properties held by trust and voluntary contributions from public 15 lakh, out of which 8 lakh was applied for charitable purpose and 4 lakh towards repayment. What is the total income? Nothing but a computation based sum. So what is the total income is what the question is asking you. We are talking about question number 26. They have given us income from property. Let's confirm one by one. Income from property 10 lakh and donation of 15 lakh. So income from property we have been given 10 lakh, donation of 15 lakh. Total income is 25 lakh. First step after we come to 25 lakh, we will not adjust application accumulation. First step is going to be take your 15% benefit, then you will be left with balance 85% of 21, 25, and they have given us two application of incomes. One is 8 lakh was applied for charitable purpose and 4 lakh towards repayment of loan, and we know that loan repayment also we have been taking as application. Accordingly, 8 plus 4, 12 lakh will be your application, 9 lakh 25 will be your final answer, and 925 I think is given to you in option B. So sum based question, we have to solve it. For those of you all who want the solution, can take the screenshot over here. This screenshot will include my handsome face also. You can pause the video and take this screenshot. I will not waste time because that's the reason I solved the sum before recording. Question 27. Kamala Charitable Trust registered under section 12AA having its main object as medical relief earns capital gains on buyback of unlisted shares of public sector company as it accepted the buyback offer. So it had shares of public sector company which is allowed. Company did buyback, so it has got capital gain of 3 lakh and agriculture income of 4 lakh. Which of the following statement is correct? Trust has to apply such income for charitable purpose as per the provisions of 11 to claim exemption. No. Agriculture income exemption will be available without making any expenditure. So that statement is wrong. 10(1) exemption will be available. 1034A will not be available. If you want exemption, you have to spend for approved objects. Trust can claim exemption under 10(1) and 1034A both. Wrong. Trust can claim exemption under 1034A. Wrong. Section 10 exemptions are not allowed. 10(1), 1023C and 1046. Trust can claim exemption in 10(1). Actually, this is only left. No need to read also. But you should always read such big options. In respect of agriculture income without applying such income for charitable purpose on the condition that the registration under section 12AA shall be inoperative. We know that now any trust wanting to claim exemption will have to accept that the registration has to be inoperative. However, it cannot claim exemption in respect of its capital gain under section 1034A without applying the income for charitable purpose. Just one correction I would like to make. The other three are obviously wrong. Answer is D only. Just one correction, that for taking 10(1) exemption, this condition is not applicable, that your registration shall become inoperative. You can continue your registration under 12AA. If you want the exemption of 1023C and 1046, the amendment, for those two, we have an amendment that your 12AA registration will become inoperative. Then you can take that, and once you start losing section 10, and you come back to section 11, then you will have to make application for fresh registration. So answer is D only, but this condition is not applicable. This much has to be cancelled from your answer. Question number 28. Which of the following is not included in the income? Corpus is not included, we know. Anonymous is included, business income is included, and known donation is also included. Accordingly, corpus being the only option will be your answer. For claiming exemption, a trust must register, file ROI on time, maintain books of accounts. That means all of the above. Allowable modes of investment for a trust are, what are the allowable modes of investment for a trust? Units of UTI, yes, allowed. Unsecured loans to trustee, not allowed. Shares of public sector, government company allowed. Immovable property allowed. Government securities allowed. 1, 3, 4, 5. You just have to search. Where is 1, 3, 4, 5 in the option? C. Registration application should be made to whom? CIT, AO, Finance Minister, whom? Registration with CIT. Then later on assessment will be done by obviously assessing officer. Trust has to apply -% of its income for full exemption. If you want full exemption, you have to spend 85 because 15 is always going to be exempt. For deduction, application of income can be in the form of revenue is allowed, capital is allowed, but corpus donation to other trust is not allowed. So can I say 1 and 2 both are going to be allowed accordingly 33B. For deduction, a trust can make application of income up to the due date of return filing. Yes, any application during the year or any application up to the due date of return filing, both going to be allowed. For availing the benefit of accumulation, trust must file ROI on time. In fact, if you don't do that, then you lose everything. Furnish form number 10 on or before the due date of return filing. And in other words, both conditions have to be fulfilled. Both conditions have to be fulfilled. Both conditions have to be fulfilled and therefore both 1 and 2. Capital gains of a trust will be long term. See, in charitable trust, ये concept ना long term, short term applicable in. For a trust, capital gain is capital gain. No long term, no short term, not applicable. Trust will lose exemption if it files belated ROI, yes. Private religious purpose, yes. And operates for benefit of specified person. In other words, all the cases. In which of the following cases, not just the exemption is denied, but can also cancel the registration? Private religious purpose, particular caste community creed, non-specified investment, and benefit of specified person. So, belated ROI, no. Cancellation of registration will not take place. Advancement receipt exceeding 20%, cancellation will not take place. Private religious purpose, yes. And again, for separate books of accounts also only. These three cases, you lose the exemption, but registration will not be cancelled. Deduction from anonymous donation before taxing at 30% will be. What is the deduction? This is one place where students can go wrong because it's a tax benefit and you will think whichever is lower, but the truth is, lower nahi hai. 5% of total donation or 1 lakh, whichever is higher is the answer. You may lose marks if you don't pay attention. 5% of total donation for the above purpose will include normal also, anonymous also, and both of them. And in fact, now we know that institute in suggested answer includes corpus also, and accordingly as per institute we will include corpus also. But here they are asking only normal and anonymous. Which of the asset is not immune from exit tax? Not immune means exit tax will apply. Asset out of agriculture income is immune, not our answer. Asset on which exemption was not claimed is immune, not our answer. Asset transferred to other trust within the prescribed time limit is immune, and asset received as gift is not immune. Question 42. A public trust providing relief of the poor derives income net of expenses 30 lakh. Corpus donation 12 lakh. It invests the entire corpus donation in bank deposit and does not spend at all. It accumulates 10 lakh out of 30 lakh for a specified purpose within the objects and informs the assessing officer accordingly by furnishing form number 10 after the due date. That means benefit of accumulation not available. Of filing ROI, though ROI was filed on time. Thank God ROI was filed on time, otherwise you would have lost 15% application, accumulation, everything. Out of the balance, accumulation anyways you won't get because after the due date. Out of the balance, 14 lakh is spent for approved objects of the trust. However, 14 lakh includes 1 lakh paid to a consultant in cash. Now, charitable trust also will face PGBP disallowance. That means we will not give deduction of 14 lakh. 1 lakh will be disallowed. And 3 lakh rent on which TDS has not been deducted. So, that disallowance will also apply. 1 lakh will be fully disallowed. But on 3 lakh, we will apply only 30% disallowance. Determine the taxable income of the trust. Let's see. Question has given us directly the net income. 30 lakh. So, we will take 15% exemption. Accordingly, we will get 85% as 25 lakh 50,000. From this, we will not get accumulation because the form number 10 was filed after the due date. So, accumulation will be 0. But if we talk about application of 14 lakh, we could have given 14 lakh. But in this 14 lakh, we have disallowance for cash payment of 1 lakh. And TDS not deducted, that full 3 lakh will not be disallowed, only 30%, that is 90,000. So, accordingly, from 14 lakh, we will give benefit only of 12 lakh 10,000 because these two are going to be disallowed. And from 2550, when we take the benefit of 12 lakh 10,000, accordingly, we get our taxable income as 13 lakh 40,000, which is our option B. Accumulation will not be available because after the due date, and in application, certain PGBP disallowances are going to be applicable. You have to be careful about that. That was your question number 42. You can, I'll pause it for a second, take the screenshot. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead. Question number 43. If a land acquired by a trust for 7 lakh is sold for 22 lakh 50,000 and the trust has incurred an expenditure of 50,000 in connection with transfer, then the amount of taxable gain, assuming that the trust acquires another capital asset for a consideration of 22 lakh. So investment in new asset is 22 lakh. Let's see. Gross sale consideration 2250. Transfer expense 50,000 given to us. Therefore, net sale consideration will be 22 lakh. Cost of acquisition given to us is 7 lakh and therefore capital gain will be 15. Now, is entire NSC, have we invested our full 22? New asset acquired for 22 lakh. If entire NSC is invested, entire capital gain will be exempt, and if entire capital gain will be exempt, then the question is asking us what will be the amount of capital gain taxable. If entire amount is invested, entire capital gain will be exempt, and accordingly the taxable amount will be 0. Taxable amount will be 0 because entire amount of capital gain has been, entire amount of net sale consideration has been invested. That's your question number 43. And related question, question 44. If a land acquired by a trust for 7 lakh is sold for 22.5 and trust has incurred expenditure of 50,000 in connection with the transfer, amount of taxable gain, assuming that this time the new asset is acquired for 18. So this time entire net sale consideration is not invested. However, if we have the common sense to understand, do you realize that at least capital gain amount is unchanged, it is still 15 lakh. This time entire NSC is not invested, so your exemption will not be full 15 and it is not proportionate. You have to be careful. It will be cost of new minus cost of old. Exemption will be cost of new 18 minus cost of old. Accordingly, 11 will be exempt and 4 lakh is going to be taxable. 11 will be exempt, 4 lakh is going to be taxable. Let's go ahead. That was your question number 44. Next question. Sodhi Charitable Trust, a charitable trust registered under Section 12A of Income Tax Act 1961, has sold the plot acquired 2 years back. Purchase price was 2 lakh, sale consideration was 360 and 10,000 was incurred in connection with the sale. Trust acquired immovable property of 3,10,000 by utilizing the sale proceeds. What will be the, this time they are not asking the taxable amount. So observe carefully. Last time they were asking taxable gain and you have to be careful. This time they are asking the exemption. Let's see what will be the exemption. Question number 45. Gross sale consideration 360. Transfer expense 10,000. Accordingly, net sale consideration will be 3,50,000. Cost of acquisition is 2 lakh and therefore capital gain is 150. Is entire NSC of 350 invested? No. New asset is acquired for 310. Will entire capital gain be exempt? No. Proportionate? No. Cost of new minus cost of old. Cost of new minus cost of old. So exemption will be 110, taxable 40, and listen, 40 is given in the option. You may end up choosing 40, but that's not correct because the question is asking you what is your amount which is, question is asking you amount which is exempt. Question is asking you the amount exempt, and if you have to choose the amount exempt, then 1,10,000 should be your answer. I hope we have understood this. Excellent. Let's go ahead. Flat 30% under section 115 BBC is applicable. Wholly charitable, it is applicable. Religious and charitable trust, if anonymous donation is received for education and medical, applicable. Because what are the two cases not applicable? Wholly religious and religious and charitable if received for other than education and medical. So wholly religious, not applicable. Religious and charitable if received for other than education, medical, not applicable. Accordingly, our answer will be 1 and 2. That's our option B. Flat 30% is not applicable this time. So this will not be our answer. I think it's the same question. Options are also same. Just that here they have asked applicable, here they have asked not applicable. So this we will cancel. This we will cancel. 3 and 4 will be our option, and therefore the correct option this time will be option D. During the previous year 2021, this is going to test everything out of your brain. This will tell you what is the importance of these MCQ lectures. Obviously, it's a vast book. 1650 questions including everything of ICAI database. But ICAI database of MCQ contains a very limited pool of questions. Very limited pool. And that is why they don't release the exam MCQs publicly, because they have to ask again and again from the same question. So we have to cover maximum things which we can. So that is why some of the questions appear to be very easy for you. But when it comes to questions like these, you realize the importance of MCQ question. Like it was question 68 of your partnership, or I think it was in one of our DTW or introduction chapters also towards the end we had question, I think 48. I don't remember the question number now, but I remember last lecture was partnership question number 68. This is your real talent. Let's see question 48. In fact, questions like these before watching the lecture, you should try on your own. You are going to get the wrong answer only. So you will get more respect towards the lectures which are being recorded for you. During the previous year 2021, Help Aid Charitable Trust registered under section 12AA received donation of 80 lakh. Out of which 10 were corpus. Look at the words of the question. 10 is included in 80 and 20 were anonymous. So listen, known donations are 50, anonymous are 20 and corpus 10. That total 80 includes everything. Here itself you can go wrong if you think that 80 is normal donation, 10 is corpus and 20 is anonymous. So total 110. Disaster. Disaster. 80 includes 10 and 20 both. The trust applied 40 lakh towards approved objects. And open your eyes. अरे आँख की गोटी खोल के देख. Question is asking you what? क्या पूछ रहा है तेरे से? Question पूछ रहा है tax liability. Now because the question has anonymous donation, do you know segregation होगा? Anonymous 30 and other income will be taxable at slab rates. Let's see how that is going to happen. सबसे पहले we will take the total of 80. Don't rush through the solution. Observe what I have done. Step by step. Be with me. From 80 we will subtract the corpus of 10 because corpus is not included anywhere in the income. So that 10 has to be subtracted. Mind you, corpus is included in 80 and anonymous is also included. That means now we have our total of 70, which includes normal 50 and anonymous 20, and we have to separate them. Normal 50 will be separated and anonymous 20 will be separated, obviously because of difference in tax rate. Now we apply 30 slabs, we apply what on anonymous? 30 normal slabs, 30 slabs. But before we apply 30 slabs, we get one deduction from anonymous donation. That is 5% of total donation. What is total donation? 80 lakh. What is 5% of total donation? 4 lakh. 4 lakh or 1 lakh, whichever is higher. So what will be our deduction? 4 lakh, and only 16 lakh will be taxable at a rate of only 16 lakh. See, work from home has got its own limitations. If you have a 2-year-old son who will come running in the room in which you are doing your work, then you have to pause the lecture. Sorry for the cut, but I had no option. So 5% of total donation is 4 lakh or 1 lakh, whichever is higher. So 4 lakh will be subtracted and only 16 lakh will be taxable at 30%. So your tax over here will be 480. But now we know that the 4 lakh which gets subtracted from your anonymous donation will be added to your other income, and as per latest suggested of ICAI, earlier actually ICAI was saying that you can add this amount over here at the top or at the bottom at the time of tax calculation. But now ICAI in MCQ there can be only one option. So as per their suggested answer, this anonymous will be added over here and accordingly it will be eligible for 15%. So now with your other income we have added this 4 lakh. What is this 4 lakh which we have subtracted from anonymous donation? So that 54 lakh we will take 15% benefit. From balance 85, question has given us application of 40, and on 5,90,000 when we calculate at slabs, 12,500 plus 18,000, 30,500 will be basic tax. In basic tax, 5,10,500 when we add 4%, 530, 920, and this is your correct option. So if you observe carefully, every place you could have gone at the beginning itself, if you would have taken 80 plus 20 plus 10 as the total income, उधर ही आप मर जाता। पहले आपको देखना है that 80 includes the other two. जब आपने वो देख लिया उसके बाद में when you are doing the segregation, be careful. Corpus will go away but anonymous and other will remain. Third place, when you take total donation, now you have to include corpus also because total includes everything. That's one more opinion which ICAI is now giving. That total means everything will be included. Fourth, take whichever is higher, not lower, despite the fact that it's a tax benefit. Fifth, you add this income which you are subtracting from anonymous to the other income at the top. And then 30% at one place and slabs at the other place. Accordingly, 530, 920. That's going to be your answer for question number 48. A charitable trust was created on 1/4/16 with the objective of relief for the poor. It applied for registration in 17. So created in 16 but applied in 17. Application was not disposed of by the commissioner even after expiry of 6 months. Which of the following statement is correct? Created in 16, applied in 17, but CIT has not disposed. One thing we know for sure, that if the CIT has not passed the order, the trust is deemed to be registered. That we know. But let's see what are the options. Since the application has not been disposed of by the commissioner, the trust is not deemed to be registered. Absolutely wrong. Deemed to be registered, that is for sure. Since the application has not been disposed of by the commissioner within the stipulated period, trust is deemed to be registered with effect from 1/4/16, being the date of creation. No. Registration will always be prospective. So if you created in 16 but applied in 17, you will not get retrospective registration. And therefore, your registration will come into force definitely not from this date. And then here, there is a little discussion that you need to pay attention. Now, if 1/4/16 is not the start date of registration, you may think, sir, okay, now then we have applied in 17, so our registration will come into force on 17. But as per a Supreme Court judgment, it was held that we applied in 17. From this date, the time limit given to the CIT is 6 months from the end of the month. So, end of the month is November. And then what are the 6 months? December, Jan, Feb, March, April, May. 6 months. If the CIT does not register within 6 months, trust is deemed to be registered, but not from when you apply, but from the expiry of 6 months. Means at the end of that 6-month period, on 1st of June 2018, the trust will be deemed to be registered. Not when you were created, not when you applied, deemed to be registered at the end of the period. So it will be assumed that the CIT has passed the order on the last day. He has not passed the order, but we will assume that he has passed the order on the last day, and thus your registration will start on 1st June. So deemed to be registered, but from 1st November, no, deemed to be registered from 1st of June. That is going to be your answer. When an income derived from property held under trust wholly for charitable or religious purpose and shares of beneficiaries are not known, then the income has to be taxed at MMR. Then it becomes like a private trust and therefore MMR. Which of the following statement is correct in case of charitable trust? Asset purchase can be claimed as application of income and trust can also claim depreciation. No, you cannot claim both. Excess application in a previous year can be utilized as application of income in subsequent years. Yes, because deficit can be carried forward for unlimited. This appears to be right, but let's go ahead. Trust running a hospital will be denied entire exemption if it conducts free operation. And see, they will lose exemption, but not entire, only the benefit taken will be lost. So this is, we have already got our answer, but we are just clarifying because most appropriate answer has to be chosen. Anonymous donation shall be taxable under section 115 BBC. No, not for religious trust, taxable for charitable trust. So only B is the correct option. XYZ is a charitable trust registered under 12AA with effect from 1/4/10. During 1718, it received a specific corpus donation for construction of a building which was claimed as exempt under section 11 during the said previous year. Now during previous year 1819, it desires to claim depreciation on such building as application of its income. Comment upon the validity of the said claim of depreciation. You may go wrong here, dear students, if you don't pay attention to what I am saying. You must be thinking, sir, building acquired means application of income, and once you take application of income, then later on depreciation is not allowed, and therefore most probably your answer is going to be depreciation cannot be claimed. That's option B. That's option B. We know this for a fact that if application of income is taken, then depreciation cannot be taken. But look carefully. The money was corpus donation. Listen to me carefully. Corpus donation. Agar corpus donation mila hai, that means it was not recognized anywhere as income. In fact, we have written that also. अगर उसको इनकम में लिखा ही नहीं है, देन उससे लिया हुआ बिल्डिंग को हमने कहीं पर एप्लीकेशन ऑफ इनकम भी नहीं लिया. वी हैव नॉट इंक्लूडेड द कॉर्पस, नॉट सब्ट्रैक्टेड द बिल्डिंग. नॉट इंक्लूडेड कॉर्पस, नॉट सब्ट्रैक्टेड बिल्डिंग. और क्योंकि हमने ना इंक्लूड किया ना एक्सक्लूड किया, दैट मीन्स द कंक्लूजन इज cost of building has not been taken as application, and if cost of building has not been taken as application, then the reality is that depreciation can be claimed. Be very careful. आपको immediate answer तो ये आएगा, like मुन्ना भैया from मिर्जापुर web series. Immediate नहीं सोचे लेकिन सोचेंगे. Your immediate answer may be what? What? That depreciation will not be allowed because building is application. But the truth is building was not application. Why? Because corpus was not included also. And consequently, the final answer is depreciation. Yes, it can be claimed. Registration granted to a trust shall be valid forever. False. Now we know that every trust has to take fresh registration after every period of 5 years. I don't want to even comment about fake YouTube heroes. I don't know what they have done in their book, but it is little relaxed but not postponed. So don't blindly follow anybody. Make sure that you do your own investigation also. Registration of a trust will be valid for how many years? Now it will be valid for 5 years. Every 5 years we have to renew. Provisional registration, which is the new concept, will be valid, but that will only be valid for a period of, provisional registration will be only valid for a period of 3 years. Trust whose registration is about to expire, the normal registration which expires after 5 years, should apply for fresh registration at least how much time? At least 6 months before the expiry you will have to apply. And if a trust adopts modification of objects, then fresh registration application has to be applied. We all know this. In fact, this came in 12AB also, but existingly it was also there. It has to apply within a period of 30 days. Excellent. Next chapter, assessment of political parties. Political party should maintain record of every voluntary contribution in excess of, maintain record of donor only if the donation is more than rupees 20,000. Which of the following conditions are required to be fulfilled by political party for availing the benefit of exemption under section 13A? Maintain books of accounts? Yes. Audit by CA? Yes. Furnishing of return of income? Yes. And therefore, all of the conditions have to be fulfilled. Which of the following income of Ram Mandir Sena, a political party, will not be exempt? Rent from property, you get exemption. Interest, you get. Voluntary contribution in check, so you get. But net profit, even if you fulfill all the conditions, PGBP is always going to be taxable. Which of the following incomes is exempt for political party? All heads cannot be the answer because PGBP is always taxable. And IFOS is exempt, so none of them cannot be the answer. We get exemption from income from other sources. A political party is not required to maintain record of donor contributing more than 20,000 if the amount is received. Own member you have to record. Check, cash you have to record. But electoral bond, which can be taken only from authorized bank, no need to maintain identity of the donor. Even if a political party fulfills all the conditions, PGBP will be taxable. Yes, that is what we discussed 2 questions ago. Political party has to register with whom? Election Commission, President of India, Lok Sabha Speaker, or Mukesh Bhai Ambani. See, the kind of person he is. You should always talk to such senior people in terms of age, in terms of achievements in life, in terms of contribution. He is the one who is getting the credit, should get the credit for reduction of your mobile bills. If he was not there, then your other companies would have also never reduced the prices. You may hate it for all the reasons. You may be affiliated to other political parties and whatever be the reason. But you cannot refer to him as Mukia or Mukeshia, or you cannot disrespect such a senior person. You should talk to or talk about such people with full respect. Referring to them with nicknames like Mukia, etc. is, I think, not correct. So, with due respect, this has to be Mr. Mukesh Bhai Ambani. This is more important, whether you register anywhere else or no. You have to be registered with him because whoever wins the election, he runs the country. But the truth is, on paper at least, on paper, the registration has to be taken with Election Commission. A political party will get exemption if donation exceeds 2,000 is received in cash. You will not get. Bearer check you will not get, but electoral bond is allowed. Political party will lose exemption if donation exceeding 2,000 is received in. NEFT is allowed. Bearer check is not allowed. Cash is also not allowed. See, this is also right and this is also right. So, option that you have to select is going to be D. When both are right, then you will have to select D. So, that was your chapter, Charitable Trust. Let's go ahead. Next chapter, Assessment of Electoral Trust. Voluntary contributions received by an electoral trust shall be exempt if the trust distributes dash of the aggregate donations received by. What is the minimum requirement? Minimum 95% has to be distributed to political parties. State whether true or false. Electoral trust shall not accept any contribution in cash. It is not written in 13B, but in the rules which were created by CBDT, it is written, and therefore cash donation not allowed. Electoral trust gets exemption from all incomes. If it fulfills the condition, it will get exemption only on voluntary contribution. Other incomes like bank interest, etc. of electoral trust is always going to be taxable. Exemption is available only on voluntary contribution, and therefore all incomes will not be exempt. The answer is going to be false. All incomes are not going to be exempt. The answer is going to be false. Let's go ahead. Next chapter, very important chapter, applicable to companies. 71 questions we have in this. So already in political party, we covered 57. and 9, 66 and 3, 69 plus 71 will make it 140 questions for today's lecture, episode number 4. And this lecture I will end it at the end of minimum alternate tax. We will do MAT today, but AMT and other we will do it in the next. By the way, I have one upcoming Zoom batch coming for November 21. So in the 2 days that I have currently, when I have returned from an outstation batch, I am trying to record as many episodes as I can. They will be available to you one by one, but I am recording some of the episodes today itself. Plus, I am working on the handwritten book, as you are aware, and I am dedicating a lot of time to that handwritten book. Also, only these lectures and that handwritten book, because I have got upcoming assignments also. And stop commenting and again asking, sir, when will the book be available? I am trying my level best. I am working with double capacity and not wasting a single minute anywhere else. After I am doing all my necessary work, I am focusing on the handwritten book. I will try my level best. By the end of April, it will be available to you at your house also. There is a 1 week time required for courier also. I require 1 week for printing, 1 week for proofreading, 1 week for printing, and 1 week to means I require about 10 to 15 days, a total of 18 days maximum after the book is ready. Now, first draft of the book is ready. It's in the correction stage. It might take another 10 days or so, and by the 13th or 14th of April, we may take your pre-booking orders. The pre-booking we will give at a reduced and discounted price, and then we may send the book for printing. By the end of April, the book will be available to you. For the November 21 students, it is still very much comfortable that you can acquire the book right now. As far as May 21 students is concerned, I do agree that it is quite close to your exam. But May 21 exams are in the last week of May, firstly. And main objective of this book that you should be able to revise the full subject 1 day before your exam. That purpose is going to be achieved. 1 day before your exam, you will be able to revise your full subject. So that book will be very useful for you if you have it. And I would still suggest that you should acquire, but I will not force anybody, including the November 21 students. It's a first draft and I am going to print very limited quantity because I have to see what is the acceptability of the book everywhere, and thus from subsequent volumes I can make from next year onwards more quantity. Very limited quantity, very less price. I expect the stock to get over very soon, in fact in pre-booking itself, and thus that day when I keep the announcement, I will be officially announcing. So you don't ask me again and again that the books are ready. Now you can pre-book and you can contact our team. The contact number will be available on the ticker. For now, we will go ahead in our chapter MAT, that is minimum alternate tax. A company which is not a domestic company, foreign company, will pay income tax. Can we say only one rate? No old regime, no new regime, only one rate, 40%. Health and HEC is applicable to whom? All assessees, all except company, all assessees obviously. Surcharge applicable to domestic company for AY 21-22. 7% if the total income exceeds 1 crore. That's right. 12% if the total income exceeds 1 crore. That's wrong. 7% if the total income exceeds 1 crore but does not exceed 10 crore, and 12% if the total income exceeds. This is the most appropriate answer. Surcharge applicable to non-domestic company is, we know, same amounts but rates are 2 and 5 respectively. So 5 after 1 crore is wrong, 10 after 1 crore is wrong, 2 after 1 crore and 5 after 10 crore. Company would be resident in India. Indian company always resident. And foreign company if the place of effective management POEM is in India, and therefore A or B, both companies are going to be treated as resident in India. A also and B also. You don't have to do both. If you are Indian company, POEM may be outside India. If your POEM is in India, you may not be an Indian company. So answer will be A or B. You don't have to fulfill both conditions. Any one of them, in fact, both of them independently are going to be residents. Okay. Question number 6. Rate of income tax for domestic company where turnover in financial year 18-19 was 465 crore and company has taken deduction of additional. Taken deduction of additional means what? You are in the old regime, because if you don't take all the benefits, you go in new regime, but taken, that means old. And in old, if turnover 2 years ago was more than 400 crore, then currently your tax will be 30%. If it was up to 400 or less, then it would have been 25 crore, but here it will be 30. Company for income tax purpose, Indian company is included, foreign is included. Institution declared as company under Income Tax Act 1922. So you are a company in that act and you are continuing. Now declared by CBDT also, and accordingly all of them are going to be treated as company. Putin Limited is a company formed under the laws of Russia, situated in India, and made arrangement for declaration of dividend within India. It is going to be treated as foreign company, Indian company, domestic company. Any foreign company, if it makes arrangement for distribution of dividend in India, then for the purpose of Indian laws, it will be treated as a domestic company, and according tax provisions will be applicable. Rate of tax for domestic company where turnover in financial year 18-19 is 400, exact 400. Listen to the importance of equal to. Company has taken deduction of additional. Taken deduction means old, and in old regime, up to 400 crore also, you will get the benefit of 25. If it is exceeding 400, then it will be 30%. Surcharge of domestic company if total income is 12 crore. 12 crore domestic company will be 12% because after 10 it is going to be 12%. If it is 9.5, then it is going to be 7%. If it is 9.5, then 7. After 1 crore, 7. After 10 crore, 12. Surcharge of non-domestic company if the total income is 12 crore. Non-domestic total income is 12 crore. So more than 10, non-domestic will be 5%. And if it is 9.5 crore, then 2. So we already saw that after 1 crore, 7, and after 10 crore, 12 for domestic, and for non-domestic it will be 2 and 5 respectively. And accordingly we have chosen our same manner, we have chosen our answers. Which of the following is not applicable to public? That means applicable only to private. Section 72, carry forward of losses, applicable to both. 32, depreciation, applicable to both. 56 to 7b, listen, you have to know the section number here. Issue of shares to a resident more than face value, that is premium, and more than fair market value, securities premium will be taxable. Issue price minus fair market value, that is applicable only to private company, and gift concept is also applicable to all assessees. So 56 to 7b not applicable to public company. MAT is not applicable to company doing life insurance business. Yes. Banking applicable, fire insurance applicable, electricity applicable. 5 companies, life insurance, foreign company, DTAA, no PE, foreign company, no DTAA, no registration in India, foreign company, presumptive taxation if opted, and domestic company, new taxation regime if opted. MAT is not applicable, life insurance, correct. Foreign company, DTAA, no PE, correct. Foreign company, no DTAA, no registration, that is also correct. In fact, 2 more come, foreign company, presumptive if opted, and new taxation regime for domestic company if opted. Which of the following condition is to get optional tax rate of 22% under 115BW? That's basic, obviously. Compulsory surcharge and HEC 10 and 4. Only domestic, before due date, and forego all the tax benefit. SEZ, additional investment allowance, everything. Accordingly, answer is going to be all of the above. Once option under section 115BW is exercised, it can be changed on a year-to-year basis? No. Only in the new regime for individual HUF 115BAC, for people not having PGBP income, you have the option to change every year. A Limited is a domestic company. Financial year 2021 has book profit of 1 crore 40 lakh and profit as per normal provision 70 lakh. Compute the income tax bill. See, first of all, book profit is that means old, because in new regime, MAT is not applicable. And if it is in old, that means MAT will be still 15. But here we have to, assume 30 or 25. We can calculate both and see. I have done the sum. That's your question number 19 of MAT. NTTI given to you is 70 lakh. Book profit is 1 crore 40 lakh. Basic tax year 21. I have assumed 30 and I have calculated at 21. So basic is same. Some people are like, sir, same. So choose whichever. No. MAT is more than 1 crore. Book profit is more than 1 crore. So there will be surcharge. But here there will be no surcharge because NTTI is not exceeding 1 crore. Basic may be same, but you have to compare the final amount. Your surcharge will depend on NTTI, your surcharge will depend on book profit. Accordingly, here there will be no surcharge, but here there will be 7%. And after you add HEC, which will come at both places, this will be 2184, this will be 2336,880, and higher of the two, 2336. So even if you would have done 25% over here, you will still get 2336 as your answer, and accordingly I have directly assumed 30%, 2336,880. MAT is applicable to Indian, domestic, foreign. Can I say MAT is applicable to all companies? Following will not be added to book profit even if debited in P&L. Income tax we add, DDT we add, surcharge HEC we add, but penalty we don't add. It's not logical, but that's the provision. Penalty will not be added. Following will not be subtracted in book profit computation even if credited in P&L. Will not be subtracted. Income tax refund not taxable, you have to subtract. Interest will not be subtracted because interest is taxable and MAT will cover all 5 heads of income. So refund will not be subtracted. A refund will be subtracted, but interest refund will be subtracted, but interest will not be subtracted. Following will not be subtracted in book profit even if credited in P&L account. Income tax refund will be subtracted, we already saw. Interest, some are wondering, sir, same question, be careful. Other heads of income, everything is covered because MAT include all 5 heads. So if B is also right and C is also right, the option that we will have to select is actually going to be D. In here, both cannot be our answer because this is not our answer. And none of them is also not the answer because interest was covered. So you have to choose the most appropriate answer. In 22, B was the most appropriate answer. But in 23, D is the most appropriate answer. Following will be added in book profit computation if debited. Deferred tax, yes, added. Interest to financial institution added in NTTI, not in MAT. Cash payment exceeding 10,000 and penalty also, they are all PGBP disallowances. In MAT only, this is going to be added. Depreciation to be added in book profit computation will be add side, it will always be as per books. Depreciation added in NTTI computation also, in both cases, add as per books. Less in NTTI as per tax, but in MAT as per books excluding revaluation. Depreciation to be subtracted in NTTI, NTTI will be as per tax, but depreciation book profit will be as per books excluding the revaluation depreciation because the idea is to disallow the revaluation. Following will not be subtracted in book profit computation even if it is credited in P&L. Section 10, we will subtract. 10 AA SEZ, we will not subtract because SEZ income is taxable. Royalty income of foreign company, normal rate of tax is less than 15, so we'll subtract. And therefore, both also cannot be our answer. Our answer is going to be B. Amount of dividend paid or proposed by company should be dash. Dividend paid is not an expenditure and therefore it should be what? Added. For a company whose insolvency application is not accepted, if insolvency application is accepted, then there is a different rule. Not accepted. Brought forward loss to be subtracted in book profit will be business loss or UAD. If insolvency is not accepted, then it is going to be whichever is lower as per books of accounts. But if insolvency is accepted, then we know that business loss and UAD both are going to be. Two companies, insolvency accepted and BOD suspended by NCLT, then both are going to be allowed. Which of the following should be added in book profit of Indian company? Expenditure relating to capital gain on transfer of securities. Will that be added? No, because if income is subtracted, then only expenditure is added. But surcharge has to be added because surcharge is a part of income tax. A certain liability we don't, uncertain we add. And expenditure related to SEZ also we will not add because income is not subtracted. Only surcharge is going to be your answer. AO cannot question the net profit as per profit and loss account if accounts are as per company law, correct, audited by CA, laid down in the AGM and approved by ROC, Supreme Court judgment, Apollo Tyres, all conditions are fulfilled, then AO cannot question the net profit. Abhishek Limited has revaluation reserve of 1 lakh for asset which is discarded. If asset is discarded, then revaluation should be sent to P&L. What will be the adjustment? Add because it is not sent to P&L. Obviously, it cannot be less if it is not sent to P&L, if it is not credited to P&L, then it will have to be added. So, we are going to add it back. M Limited, an Indian company which received units of business trust worth 79,000 in exchange of shares of SPV which was acquired for 150. So, our purchase price was 150, but units, the NAV is 79 and therefore, books are showing a loss of 71 which was charged to P&L. What will we do? Listen, profit or loss can arise only at the time of sale of units. Selling price of units minus cost price of shares. In between, if any profit or loss is arising, eliminate. If we have charged to P&L, then we have to add it back. Expenditure related to royalty under section 115A incurred by foreign company should be what? Is royalty income subtracted? Yes. Then what will we do to the corresponding expenditure? It has to be added. Financial year 15-16, an amount of 50,000 which was transferred to reserve was added back while calculating book profit. Now in financial year 2021, 10,000 is withdrawn. If we do transfer to reserve, we add. So then we do transfer from reserve. What do? We will have to less. But what's the rule? If transfer to reserve was not added, then transfer from reserve will not be subtracted. While calculating book profit, amount of brought forward loss or UAD, whichever is lower, has to be reduced. This brought forward business loss or UAD should be as per books, tax or option. In book profit, it will always be as per books of accounts. Which among the following adjustments will not be reduced? Not be reduced. Exempt income is reduced. Notional gain is reduced. LTCG, taxable under 112A, will not be reduced because all 5 heads of income will be covered, and royalty income also is reduced. You just have to see, is it there in 29 adjustments? Accordingly, take your conclusion. D Private Limited has brought forward business loss and unabsorbed depreciation of 60,000 and 1,20,000 respectively as per books of accounts. And as per income tax, business loss is 50,000 and unabsorbed depreciation is 70. D Private Limited is in the process of insolvency and application was admitted, very important condition. While calculating book profit for MAT, how much will be reduced? First of all, amount as per tax is irrelevant. We have to see amount as per books. In book profit as per books, we always take whichever is lower. But if the insolvency is admitted, then it is going to be total of the two, 180. So you observe what are my options. I have taken 60, 120 out of the two. The total, whichever is lower, and under normal provisions also whichever is lower. I have taken the possibilities where you can go wrong, but the correct answer is 180. As per books, total because insolvency was admitted. While calculating book profit, amount was withdrawn from reserve which is not credited in P&L. Adjustment of withdrawal of amount of reserve, not credited. So what did we do? When the amount was withdrawn from reserve, it is not credited in P&L. What will we do in book profit? If we transfer from reserve and we credit to the P&L account, then we have to minus because it has increased our profit. But if we have not credited to the P&L account, then it has not done any impact on our profit. And if it has not done any impact on our profit, then our answer obviously will be no effect. Capital reserve or securities premium existing on the convergence date as per erstwhile Indian GAAP, which is reclassified to retained earnings under Ind AS, shall, when we compute our transition amount, what do we do to capital reserve and security premium? That amount is going to be ignored altogether from our calculation. There are other amounts ignored, but they come in the later years. This will be ignored. And after this, we do 1/5 of the transition amount, credit balance add and debit balance less in the year of convergence plus 4 subsequent years. Gain or losses for investment in equity instruments designated at fair value through other comprehensive income recorded in OCI should be adjusted when the book profit. Which year? Revaluation surplus and investment in equity, not when it is recorded in the OCI, but when the instrument is sold. So that's your option B. In case of Ind AS compliant company, book profit of year of convergence and each of the following 4 previous years shall be increased or decreased by how much of the transition amount? 1/5. So total in 5 years we are going to adjust the full amount. Correct or no? Every company to which section 115 JB applies shall furnish along with return of income report of a whom? At least till now, with God's grace, it is only us. In the coming days, anything can happen if we don't improve ourselves in terms of quality of our work. Under Ind AS, investment in preference shares is considered to be a liability. That's Ind AS rule. And correspondingly, dividend expenses debited to P&L as interest cost. That's Ind AS. But as we know it is dividend, then what will we do to the interest cost? It has to be increased because dividend debited to P&L has to be added back. Barrack Limited, a foreign company engaged in shipping business and therefore profits are taxable under presumptive 44B, which is opted by the assessee. Very good. Then is MAT applicable? No. Presumptive MAT not applicable if opted, and if the assessee has opted, then yes, presumptive is not going to be applicable. MAT is not applicable to a foreign company with which India does not have a DTAA. If has DTAA, then the rule is no PE. Does not have a DTAA, what is the rule? Not required to register under any law. Not required to register under any law. No PE, not applicable. Turnover, not applicable. Transaction, not applicable. Not required to register under any law. In case of a company being unit located in International Financial Services Center, MAT shall be chargeable at, in IFSC it is going to be 9%. So normally it is 15, but in IFSC it will be 9. Excess realized on sale of land is credited to P&L while calculating book profit. For the purpose of MAT, how will this excess be adjusted? Capital gain credited will be minus? No, because if you minus in book profit, there is no place to add it back, and book profit therefore will contain all 5 heads of income. Income accruing or arising to company from dash will not be subjected to MAT. Banking is subjected, electricity is subjected, but life insurance business will not be subjected to MAT. MAT is not applicable to a foreign company with which we have a DTAA. Only if we have a DTAA, then you should not be having any permanent establishment. No DTAA, no registration. Yes DTAA, no PE. State whether the following statement is true or false. If provisions of MAT are applicable, then 234 ABC not applicable. Nonsense. कुछ भी बकवास करता है. कुछ भी. Rolta India, 234 ABC, applicable. In fact, higher of the two has to be paid as advance tax. Tax credit under MAT is allowed to be carried forward. How many years? कितना साल carry forward मिलता है? MAT का credit will be carried forward for a period of 15 years. Tax credit under MAT can be set off against any income. Rubbish. Set off against MAT paid in next year. Bakwas. Set off against tax payable as per normal provisions of income tax to the extent of excess of such tax payable over the tax payable on the book profit. So, accrue कब होगा? When MAT is higher, and utilize when normal is higher but maximum to the extent of difference. C is going to be your correct answer. Provision for doubtful debts is debited. That means RDD is debited. Is it an actual loss? No. Expected loss. What will we do with such amount? Add it back. Manan Private Limited paid MAT of 242 in 1920 where income tax was 194. Obviously, normal tax is 194. MAT is 242. Higher of the two, MAT was paid. Obviously, there will be MAT credit. Can I say 242 minus 194, 48,000 MAT credit मिलेगा आपको because MAT is higher and you are paying it. In 2021, income tax is 210 and MAT is 179. When in 1 year MAT is higher, credit was accrued. And now in a future year when normal is higher, credit will be utilized. So how much will be utilized? Will we use full MAT credit? No. You should check this difference. This difference is only 31,000. Maximum that you can utilize from the 48 is 31 and the remaining amount, I think about 17,000 can be carried forward. This was year 1, 14 more years are available, but you cannot utilize full 48. You can utilize only a maximum of 31,000. In case of conversion of private company into LLP, what will happen to your MAT credit? Obviously, it will lapse because now you are no longer a company. So, all your MAT credit is going to be not available. X Limited is a domestic company. Very easy question, but silly mistakes innumerable possible. These are questions that you have to focus on when you learn your MCQ. X Limited is a domestic company. It has a total income of 10 crore 1 lakh. 10 crore 1 lakh. Surcharge for a domestic company after 10 crore, 12%. For AY 21-22. Gross receipts for 18-19 is 390. That means basic tax we will apply at 25%. If this is up to 400, then 25. So you can go wrong if you apply 30. You can go wrong in surcharge. Basic 25, surcharge 12. Basic 25, surcharge 12. What will be the tax liability if it has taken additional? Taken additional means it is old, because if otherwise we will put it in new and directly we will calculate 25.168. But old regime, basic 25 and surcharge will be 12. Because the income is just crossing 10 crore, there can be a case of marginal relief, and thus to calculate tax liability of this assessee, how should we do it? When we are calculating the tax liability on 10 crore, compare it with another assessee whose income is exact 10 crore. So 10 crore 1 lakh is our assessee. This is what we have to solve. But also compare it with another assessee. What benefit will be given? 2 crore 50 lakh basic tax, and here it will be 2 crore 50 lakh 25,000 because 1 crore extra. Here the surcharge will be only 7% because exact 10 crore 7. When it is greater than 10 crore, which is this case, here it will be 12. I hope you are clear. Basic is 25 because old regime turnover up to 400 crore 2 years ago. So accordingly, we have applied the basic tax on respective income. This income, this amount, this income, this amount. Surcharge, have you all understood? This is 7, this is 12 because this is up to 10 crore, but this is more than 10 crore. So accordingly, when we add surcharge on the given basic tax, we get these amounts. But now understand, if the income is only exceeding by 1 lakh rupees, 10 crore and 10 crore 1 lakh, then this cannot be your tax. The tax can increase only by 1 lakh. So here if you are getting 267.50, this can only be 268.50. The maximum difference in tax can be the difference of income. So if income is exceeding only by rupees 1 lakh, the tax can exceed only by rupees 1 lakh, and accordingly 268.50 plus 4% HEC, 279, 24,000. 2 crore 79, 24,000 is going to be your tax liability. Very easy question, but silly mistakes can result in loss of marks. Question 61. Messrs. Atlanta Airlines Incorporated as a company in USA operated its flights to India and vice versa. Foreign airline company. During 2021, it collected 280 crores for carriage of passengers and cargo. So total turnover is 280. But out of which 100 crore was received in US dollar for passenger fare from Atlanta to Delhi. What is included in Indian turnover? Option 1, if payment is received in India. Option 2, if journey commences in India. This journey commenced outside India. That means, can I say 100 we will supply? But out of this 100 crore, 40 crore was received in India. So you actually cannot subtract 100. Either you subtract only 60, or even if you have subtracted 100, 40 has to be included back. Because money is received in India. So 180 is Indian journeys, that will be included, and in 140 will be included, and accordingly you have to take 220 as the turnover. So if we subtract 100, in 140 was received in India. What are the two conditions? Journey commences in India, payment received in India. 180 we have to include, from 100 we will include 40 because received in India. And what is the percentage? Now listen, the question is effective income tax rate applicable. What is the effective income tax rate? That will depend on NTTI. गधे, पागल, बेवकूफ, तेरे को ये तो नहीं लगता है? You are not feeling that this is NTTI ना? आपको ये तो नहीं लग रहा है this is NTTI? गधा, this into 5% because this is turnover रे पागल. This is turnover. This into 5%. What is our NTTI? 5 crore. NTTI is 5 नहीं, sorry, 5% है मतलब 11 करोड़. 220 का 5% 11 करोड़. ये हमारा NTTI है, इस पे टैक्स होगा. अब अगेन व्हाट आर योर मिस्टेक्स? फॉरेन कंपनी मींस बेसिक टैक्स 40%. इफेक्टिव रेट पूछा है, सब ऑल इंक्लूसिव. नेक्स्ट स्टेप, ये 11 करोड़ है ना, तो सरचार्ज विल कम. एंड हाउ मच? फॉरेन कंपनी, सो 2% और 5%. व्हेन इट इज मोर देन 10 करोड़, 5% surcharge, and obviously HEC will also get attracted. Accordingly, when we add surcharge and HEC, we will get 43.68. So basically, first you had to find out Indian turnover. From that turnover, you had to identify NTTI at 5% using the presumptive rate, and from that you had to decide rate of basic, surcharge, HEC, and effective tax rate will become 43.68%. There is only one rate of MAT in India. Nonsense. IFSC we have 9%. Wrong answer. Rate of MAT is different for domestic and non-domestic. No, domestic, non-domestic both 15. Kali IFSC it is going to be 9. Which of the following shall not be added back to the profit as shown in the statement of profit and loss account? To compute book profit, provision for income tax, add back. Interest on income tax, add. Interest under 234B, that's interest only, that will add. But penalty, the act is silent and will not be added. In order to opt for the new taxation regime under section 115 BAB, company should be incorporated on or after 1st October 2019. In order to opt for new taxation regime under section 115 BAB, company should commence manufacturing. Incorporate on or after 1st October 2019, but commence manufacturing up to 31st March 23. 115 BAB, बहुत सारा condition, long list of conditions. In order to opt for new taxation regime under section 115 BAB, the company should be in manufacturing business. Manufacturing includes what? Books are excluded, mining is excluded, gas is excluded. But for electricity, silent, and therefore it is generation. So manufacturing and therefore electricity will be included. In order to opt for new taxation regime under section 115 BAB, company should be in manufacturing business. For this, manufacturing does not include. Electricity is included, right now we saw. But printing of books is right. Manufacturing of plastic is wrong because that is also going to be included, and therefore both also cannot be the answer. Answer is going to be 68B. For a company opting for 115 BAB, income other than business income shall be taxed at what rate? See, business income will be taxable at 22% plus 10%, 15% plus 10% plus 4%, 17.16. But there can only be manufacturing, no other business. So other business is not possible, but other heads is possible, no? House, property, capital gain. What will be the rate of tax? 115 BAA of 22 is going to be applicable. Just there is a correction in the suggested answer. 15 is written, that's wrong. In the answer, 69A is printed, that is wrong. The correct answer is C. Only business income will go in 15%. Only business income will go in 15%. Other income will go in 22%. Option to avail 115 BAA has to be exercised on or before 139(1) due date. We know. Which year? Is it before the first ROI? No. You can stay in old. One day you can go to new. From the year in which you want to exercise the option, that year. But what do we know about 115 BAB? In the very first return, you are a newly incorporated company. In the very first ROI, you have to choose New, old, old. First ROI, if you choose new, you will always be in new. First, if you choose old, you will always be in old. So 115 BAA you can choose after few years, but BAB you have to choose before the first ROI. So just only make one correction. Question 69, the answer is C, and 70, 71, these are your answers, A and B respectively. That's our chapter called minimum alternate tax. That's 140 questions in about 1 hour and 10 minutes, mainly because the sum part of it was already solved before recording commenced. Because I wanted to save your time, I consumed my time before I press the record button. I did all that before pressing the record button. I have saved your time. Please make most of this lectures. That was our episode number 4. I hope you enjoyed on the dance floor. Next episode, episode 5. Give me high five. Very bad. Sorry. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. Thank you very much. See you in episode 5. Some more important chapters coming up. Thank you very much.